welcome back, all our visionaries. Thanks for joining in on another chapter, part 2 of Greatest Love. This song is a phenomenal song. If you have not checked it out, go check it out on iTunes or whatever, type thing that you can download music on, by Whitney Houston. It is a completely inspirational song. I told you my second episode that I did some singing, so hope you don't mind that I sing this for you, because I don't have a copy myself. I could play it on Pandora, but the thing is that I am only taking little chunks at a time to break it down because it is so inspirational. And it, when you sing it, you hear the words, you can feel them, but sometimes you don't take the time to really think about, each phrase in its own part and like the different facets of it, because it's a shining diamond, this kind of song. So part 1 was yesterday, and that was talking about the children are our future. Teach them well and let them lead their way. Show them all the beauty they possess inside, right? Give them a sense of pride, make it easier. And it ended on, letting the children's laughter, if you're around kids, if you teach kids, if you have kids, if you have grandkids, having that laughter be the reminder of what you used to be like, that time when everything was just a dream, and your imagination, and how you were able to really see things like in an imaginative way, in a creative way, where you could manifest, different stories, and, just have things happen for you, and having fun, just, remembering what it is to live life. We get bogged down to this 9 to 5, kind of lifestyle. Maybe it's not a 9 to 5, maybe you work, a night shift, but you get what I'm saying. And, it's like we have to do this daily grind to get this in order to have this. And we forget that, reason for living is to live, to be happy, to love, to create. It isn't just to do this to get a means for an end. That's just surviving. It isn't living. And we are meant and we are worth living. We're worth it. And so I hope you remember that. So remind us how it used to be. This next part, super powerful. All of it is. I decided long ago never to walk in anyone's shadow. If I fail, if I succeed, at least I lived as I believe. No matter what they take from me, they can't take away my dignity. Should I save the next part? We'll save the next part. I was been debating on whether to stop it there or not, but I think we're going to save it. So I decided long ago, and this is what all of us need to decide. Once we decide not to live in anyone's shadow, that's when you can truly create. That's when you can create the life that you were meant to live. If you are going by someone else's standards, someone else's expectations, and if you haven't seen my video on what to be careful of expectations, check that out. I am figuring out things as I go, and I will figure out how to link that somewhere, or in the description down below at least. But that stuff holds you back. It keeps you from being creative. And when you are creative, you are in that manifestation state, and you can, you can draw things to you that better are suited for you. don't walk in anyone's shadow. And, a lot of us, this next part, they get hung up on if you're failing, if you're succeeding. They are afraid of failure. And, many of us might have that fear of failure because of our childhood, where we were expected to be, and there's that expectations again. I tell you, it's the crux of it all. They have this expectation of perfection, when we should be taught we are already perfect. We are perfect in our imperfections. We are here to learn. We are here to experience. Of course we're going to make quote-unquote mistakes. That's part of the experience. That's part of the growth. If we already knew everything, if we already, were what some people view as perfect, not making mistakes, having A's, doing all of that stuff, if we were already like that, then that wouldn't be living either. You would not be experiencing life. You wouldn't be experiencing stuff because you already knew it. In fact, this is one of the later episodes, I'm going to be talking about a book that I read that talks about that, about the whole being able to experience things is a big part of life. And it's called Conversations from God, or with God, Conversations with God. And don't get hung up on that God word. A lot of people do. If you are not like a Christian or from some sort of Christian-based, religion, don't get hung up on that God word. A lot of people just use God, and they're like, oh, I'm not religious. I don't believe in God. But you might, if you're from a different one, maybe it's Allah, maybe it's the Great Spirit. But don't get hung up on that God word. Getting sidetracked, that is a later episode still to come. But that is a fantastic book, and it does talk about how we are, a big part is experiences. So we need to be teaching our children and ourselves. We got to reprogram our brains because, we've been living kind of in a broken system. It's been shown with, what's happening right now with, with the Black Lives Matter and, the monuments coming down. It's being brought to light that it's a broken system, what we've been living in. So we're going to have to, as adults, reprogram our brains. We have to take the step and, admit, hey, I don't know it all. I've been living in, a fractured society. I've been living, somebody else's program, somebody else's ideas that I just took on myself as a child, and I've been living this out because, it's subconscious. It's like 95% of your brain, they say 95%, people say different things, is subconscious. The other is conscious. And so all of that is, your autopilot, the stuff that you were taught earlier. So those expectations and your autopilot living in someone else's shadow, someone else's idea. Or maybe you're just thinking you're living with those limited beliefs, so you're not good enough, smart enough, well enough, anything enough. As my husband decided to come in when I was on a roll, so it was not intentional. I promised no cuts, but I had to do it that time. He is not worked up himself to being on camera yet. However, back to what I was saying. You're living in someone else's shadow. 95% of your brain is working on a subconscious level versus 5% is that conscious creative level. So if you're living in that program and you're not conscious, you're not staying conscious, you're not staying mindful, then you're going to be living someone else's shadow in someone else's program, whether that be your parents. And I know it's hard for some people to be like, well, my parents are smart, and My parents did well with me. It's not that they did well or didn't do well. It's the fact that you, even with your parents, anyone, teachers, parents, any sort of leaders, you have to question. Who was it? Geez, the name has not Apollo. Aristotle. Hello, there you go. I got it out. Aristotle, one of his most famous teaching, question everything. And that is, even he knew about it. Question everything, because the people who are teaching you were programmed themselves by someone else. And if you do not question everything, then you are blindly being led. You are not being mindful. You are just taking something at face value and then going with it. And, it might be the programming, and it also might be, of course, the limiting beliefs. Your limiting beliefs being made in childhood, when you're in that, hypnosis, that theta state, brain wavelength, it is easy to, have someone make you think you're not good enough, well enough, smart enough, anything enough, and then you are letting someone else who you think, oh, well, they're better than me, because of that limiting belief, they're better than me, so that, of course, they would get to do it. You're just allowing it to pass you by. Opportunities will come, and you can either grasp it, or you can self-sabotage because of limiting beliefs, and you don't even know that you're doing it. Sometimes I've seen where people, they might have this limiting belief about money, and they're like, well, I don't have any money. They speak negatively about themselves with money, so they will self-sabotage, but they don't even realize that they're doing it. Maybe they are indecisive because of it. They don't realize that the indecisiveness is self-sabotage. And it's even happened to me. I am definitely, I try to talk well about myself, and I am decisive. But, before my awakening, I was absolutely, I would just be, oh gosh, I remember just, in my job, needing that perfection. I had to be perfect, because then I'm not smart enough. They won't think of me, and they won't like me, and just fill in the blank, negative. And so it would just freeze me. I would be paralyzed. Like, I don't know what's the best option. What's the best choice? I have to be perfect, and I would get nowhere. And that nowhere inevitably gets you somewhere, whether you like that where or not. But it's not your choice at that point, because you're living by the program. You're living by the subconscious. You're being indecisive, and you're being passive. So you're living in someone else's shadow. If I fail, if I succeed, at least I lived as I believe. If I fail, if I succeed, at least I lived as I believe. So you're not being passive anymore. You're not living in fear, false evidence appearing real. You're not, just going about blindly anymore. You're being mindful of where you're going to go. And you're not going to let that fear of failure, first attempt in learning, fail, first attempt in learning, you're not going to let that failure hold you back, keep you from where you want to go, keep you from your desires, from your manifestations. You're going to just do it. You're going to give yourself permission to live, which is what I did with these videos. I was, letting it pass me by over and over again. It had been in my thoughts. I should step out. I have a voice. I should do this too. I have lived quite a path. Someone might, benefit from this. But it was always those limiting beliefs. Oh, well, or I'll do it tomorrow. It's always tomorrow if you say that. You've got to be careful of your speech, because your voice has power. And there are some who do not believe that speaking things into existence is a real thing, as they're like, oh, well, that's just talking. Talking is a vibration. Vibration is energy, and this entire world is energy. It's whether it's a solid, it moves at a lower energy force. Liquid's more fluid, right? It's a type of energy. We ourselves are energy, and that has been proven scientifically. Our conscious is like the driver of our energy. So, even me, I was being passive. I just kept letting opportunities pass me by. But finally, what's that song? Jesus, take the wheel? Jesus, take the wheel. I always kind of, I did make fun of that song a little bit, because let's face it, I'm thinking, why are you not driving? You are about to crash. Get a hold of that wheel, lady. But I just let it pass by, and I finally decided, you know what? It's time for me to take action. I am not going to live in someone else's shadow, even if it's the inspirational people that, inspired me to do this. I'm still living in their shadow if I'm not doing it myself, when myself is telling me that I should. That's another video. I need to add that to my list when we talk about self. Self isn't just like this image of me that you're looking at. It is the whole part of me. It is my innermost secret space. And when you 7, 10, 15, 30-day meditation challenge, when you do that meditation, you are able to hear yourself, capital S, better. It is that still small voice that some people talk about, even like in religious writings. They have, they hint at it. That self guides you. And I have seen it time and time again proven in my own life. When I do not listen to myself, I live to regret it. And then later on, I go, gosh, if I just listen to myself. And a lot of people think myself stuck together, lower S. No. It is myself, capital S. It is the most important part of you that you need to start, being able to exercise to listen to. I'll go into that more in another episode. But no matter what, they, remember, they, no, I am they, you are they. They take from me, oh wait, no, I skipped ahead. No, I didn't. I'm getting confused, sorry guys. I will not live in anyone's shadow. If I fail, if I succeed, at least I lived as I believed, because you are being mindful. You are driving this. At least I made those choices. At least it was me. It wasn't someone else's ideas. No matter what they take from me, they can't take away my dignity. Because they is what? They is you. They is I. I am they. They cannot take away my dignity because I am they. If I am doing all the driving, I am making the choices, if it is my conscious effort, if I am being mindful, no one else is going to say anything that's going to be able to hurt me. And there have been plenty of people in this world that have tried to tear me down. And it's typically when I'm about to start doing something phenomenal. When my path is going on that right path, what happens? Something pops up, those stumbling blocks, and it challenges you. It challenges you to stay mindful. Like, are you going to let those stumbling blocks stumble back into that programming, stumble back into that subconscious, stumble back into autopilot? Or are you going to stay mindful? Are you going to say, oh, no, nay, I'm going to keep trucking, because I'm hearing myself, capital S, and I know that I'm on the right path. And I challenge all of you to, 7, 10, 15, 30-day meditation challenge, because it does open up a lot of doors. It opens up your mind, it opens up your spirit, it opens up your heart, and you're able to hear that still small voice. That still small voice will never be wrong. It will never steer you wrong, because it always has your best interest in mind, because it is the most it is the most positive part of you. So how could, if yourself is for you, who can be against you? If God is for you, who can be against you? Because that is like your God self. That is from source. From source. We'll talk more about that in later videos. But yeah, I challenge you all, do that challenge, that meditation challenge. You can start off with 7 days. I don't want to give you like, you have to do a 30-day challenge. Start off with 7. Give yourself a small goal. If you like it, if you enjoy it, hey, maybe I'll do the 10 one. That's just 3 more days. Why not? You enjoy that? Well, you know what? I'm feeling this. It's just really nice. It's opening some things. I'm definitely feeling calmer. Go ahead. Do 5 more days. It's 15 days. Sure, now we're at the 15-day challenge. You get to 15, you're like, you know what? I'm already halfway there. I might as well do 30. And you keep going. Easiest way that I've done is at night. And that's because when you are going to sleep, it is that small part of when you are falling asleep that you enter back in, just for a little while, that theta wave again, just like when you're a child. And that it kind of gives you that small window, other than repetition. We'll talk about that in another video too. Other than repetition of getting those, getting that subconscious reprogrammed, because you can reprogram your subconscious. If you were, had other programs that you did not like, that you have looked at yourself and said, you know what, why am I struggling here? Because my programming is not supporting this. I'm going to have to change some stuff. Self-help books are great, but that is talking to your conscious. It's not talking to your autopilot. So it's either repetition or like hypnosis with the theta waves. You can either go to someone who you may or may not trust to hypnotize you, or you can do a meditation challenge where you can have that small window and you can naturally access your theta waves again, your deep inner self, your imaginative self. And it helps to, clear out those old programmings and open you up to new possibilities. So with that in mind, I hope you take the challenge. I want to bless you all with those new possibilities. Peace, much love. See you again later.